I know this takes a little bit to buffer up, so just hang on with us, guys. We are live, and I just want to make sure that everything is coming through okay, and then we'll start. All right, so hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to our 555 live broadcast. This is stepping out of our comfort zones with Maggie and I. And today what we want to do is we want to take time to introduce ourselves, tell you a little bit about our stories, where we were, where we are, how we got there, and what the future of the things that we want to do together include. So without any further ado, I want to introduce Maggie to everyone.
Hi.
And I've known Maggie for probably at least 2 years, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. So something like that. And so feel free to chat in the chat and we will answer your questions about whatever. We'll answer them. And if we can't, we'll let you know. But chances are we'll be able to answer them. So Maggie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maggie. Some of you might know me if you are familiar with the Hukalo community. I did a webinar there about 6 weeks ago, but otherwise you probably wouldn't know me. As Temple said, we've known each other for a bit, and I feel very honored that she's inviting me onto her channel. It's weird for me to talk about myself. I'm not used to doing it, but in this, it's very much stepping out of my comfort zone to talk about myself. But I guess in the capacity that I work the most now, I'm a channeler. I do healings, I do activations for people. It's a journey for me that started about 3 years ago. Very unexpectedly, I went to a workshop to learn Reiki, and they were also doing a channeling class at that workshop. And I did learn Reiki, but first and foremost, I came out a channeler. I didn't know that I could do it, and my abilities were activated there. I've been working on it for the last few years, and I guess I don't really know what to say about it, except for it was very much out of my comfort zone for myself to use my voice. I mean, when Temple met me a couple of years ago, I couldn't voice an opinion in a crowd of people over 2 hours. You know, I would be lucky if I got one word out of my mouth. But they've really been working with me to use my voice more, to be in touch with my emotions, to use all of that for my channeling work and my healing work. And I know that this is a time where a lot of us are feeling heightened emotions. A lot of us are having things from the past come up. And it kind of goes along with my journey as well. Every step of the way for me, I've had to kind of go through barriers where I felt really uncomfortable. I felt really uncomfortable speaking. I felt really uncomfortable feeling a lot of my emotions of things that had happened in the past, and we all can relate to this. But those things, in many ways, as I learned to embrace them, have kind of become my power. Sitting where I am right now, at least, I can channel beings. I channel mostly raw right now, but Gaia is coming through a lot for channeling. A lot of beings are coming through for channeling. And I just would like to put that out there, that if the person that I used to be, who couldn't speak in a room of people, who just looked at the floor 100% of the time, if I can be a person who can channel for other people and can use my voice and step out of my comfort zone in that way, then I hope that that is inspiring for other people to be able to do the same thing. You can really do anything that you want to, or that your heart is telling you that you can, that you might be scared of doing. It's really behind our biggest fears. In my experience, that's where our greatest superpowers lie. So in the vein of coming out of our comfort zones, that's really the whole story that I have to tell, is just me getting pushed more and more out of my comfort zone as time went on. You're muted, Temple.
That's so beautiful. And Maggie has grown so much since I met her. And to just witness her growth as a person and as a being, and having her come into herself has been really such a beautiful thing, a wonderful thing for me to be able to meet back up with you in this life, of course, because we've had other life experiences together. And the first time that we actually met, we were in a meeting together, and I didn't actually know who you were, but on the screen, like the way I saw it was like you lit up, and all of a sudden I had a flashback memory to a past experience that you and I were sisters. And there was this platform of sorts, and like we had a big family, or it was a big enough family. I saw at least, it was like Maggie, myself, and maybe like 3 or 4 other children standing there. And we were like kind of like pre-teens, early teens. We were both women. And whatever was happening was important. Like we knew we were supposed to stand there and be on our best behavior, but I couldn't help myself. I had to lean over and like look at Maggie and like smile at her, even though there was this crowd of people. And I'm sure I probably got in trouble for that later. But that was the very first time I met Maggie, and I was like, oh my goodness, that was a flashback memory. And we've had lives together, and we've had other lives together as well. So it's really nice when you meet people who you don't know in this life experience, and then all of a sudden you have these wonderful memories come back of other lives. So my story, a lot of you guys probably know me if you follow the channel. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I will say that I think finding my voice and stepping out of my comfort zone has been a big lesson for me throughout my experience, because being such a little kid and experiencing things that you know that you can't tell your parents, or that you can't tell your friends, makes it very difficult. And I spent my whole life like this. There was very few people that I could talk to. And so learning what that was, like figuring it out myself, searching myself, and even when it seemed like I was either not getting anywhere or things didn't make sense. Most of the time, it just seemed like things didn't make sense for me, but I kept going. And so I'm at this point now where I'm also learning to channel with Maggie. And although Maggie has been doing it for longer than I have, I really admire her ability to sort of encompass the energy, the beings and their energy, and like give such a beautiful channeling where and I think we'll talk about this a little bit later, maybe not in this stream, but maybe in another one, about how our experiences with channeling and how we've kind of learned along the way what are some of the difficulties or some of the experiences that we've encountered while learning to channel, because I think this is really important for everybody, whether you go to a channel or whether you want to learn to channel yourself, which you can totally do. I think that it's very important to discuss these things, because I think a lot of people hold channelers in such high esteem or put them on a pedestal sometimes. And it's actually, there's a lot of intricacies in channeling, and no two channelers are alike. And so Maggie and I would like to talk about these things so you can better understand when you're going to a channeler, what you're experiencing and how it may be different from going to a different channeler. And some of the things that make channeling great, some of the things that make channeling very difficult. I think we'll talk about all of those. So it's been very nice to have someone whom not only I've had past experiences with, but feel so connected to, that we can practice our channeling back and forth. And I think while we're doing this and while we're bouncing information off one another, it just makes us stronger and makes our bond stronger and makes our sense of self stronger, because now it's not just me searching for answers or having to talk to my team and having them, tell me these answers, which I still have to figure out, if I'm hearing them correctly or what's going on. Now we can bounce things off of one another. And I think that's so important. And that has both helped us grow immensely, because even though we're so similar, we're very different as well. Wouldn't you agree, Maggie?
I totally agree. We're so similar in so many ways, and yet we perceive things so differently, and we intellectualize things so differently, and we receive information so differently. And in in the time that we've gotten to know each other, a lot of the things that I used to think were deficiencies in myself, like I know that Temple is she can astral travel, she can see things very clearly inside of her head. And I don't really have any of that, but I feel things very strongly. And I'm sure a lot of you are also very strong empaths and you feel things very strongly. And I used to always say, oh my God, I just feel like, Helen Keller, I can't see anything, I can't hear anything. Like I'm not a talented person in the spiritual world because I can't see in the ways that all of these people talk about seeing. But it really taught me that the feeling aspect is quite a strong power in itself. If you are a strong feeler, if you feel emotions very strongly, if you feel the emotions of others very strongly, and I'm sure a lot of you do, you'll probably be a great channel because you'll be able to feel the energy of the being. You'll probably be a great healer because you'll be able to sense what people need, and you'll be able to feel that love and that care for them strongly inside of yourself and send it out even more powerfully. And before I started talking to Temple so much, I thought that my feelings just got in my way, and it's helped me to see myself in this whole new light. And I think it's a similar thing for you too, right, Temple?
Yes. So for me, it's been really great learning how, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this. So in my experiences, I always have such a hard time with feeling, and I never quite understood that. Like I'm more of a thinker. I'm more of a processor. I see things and I say what I see. Like there's no, sometimes, most of the time, I get no concept of like the feelings of the general movie that I'm seeing. When in the 3D, I am, part of me, I want to say is very emotional, but part of me is not very emotional because I was never properly taught how to handle emotion. I was always taught that to be strong, to be the best you can be, to do something in this world, you have to set your emotions aside and you have to power through. And in meeting Maggie and seeing how important emotions are, and not only how important they are, but seeing how gracefully she has learned to feel them and to maneuver around them, and also to use them as a powerful tool in her experiences, but also in caring for others and showing empathy for others. It's really taught me that I really missed out on this whole emotion thing. And together, I think that we make such a wonderful team because she's getting part of the story, I'm getting the other part of the story, and together it's amazing. It's the whole package. So when we're working together, especially with various clients and channeling and healing and things, it works out best for the client and all of those involved because some people feel more, some people see more, some people think more with their brain, some people think more with their heart. And so it's really interesting when you take a look at how important emotions are and how we as a human collective don't really understand what they are, what they mean, how to navigate them, and then how to use those emotions for how to use those emotions as power, as something to not be ashamed of, as something to propel you. And that's the thing that Maggie's taught me. And we just had this discussion the other day about how, this is just my personal opinion. So I was telling Maggie that in my personal opinion, I think it's amazing that she can feel, because when I see, I just see. Like, I don't necessarily, unless somebody says something to me that has feelings, I feel sad or blah, blah, blah. I'm just relating what I'm seeing, where like I feel like she gets more of the whole picture because she can understand those emotions of what's going on. And so I think there's a lot to learn from that. And I'm so happy that now she's really grown into accepting these as something very powerful, and that you're like a goddess of like maneuvering through the ocean of emotion, so yeah.
I definitely have stronger feelings than Temple. It is a double-edged sword in that I feel a lot, which helps my channeling a lot. It helps my healing a lot. But in my 3D life, I also feel a lot. So I'm crying and upset a lot until the point that comes where I can totally master my emotions. But to Temple's point, I do think that our emotions, our feeling, it's the greatest energy we carry as humans. When we're angry, when we're sad, when we're happy, these are the things that drive us. And this is the tool, when it boils down to it, that we use to manifest with our feelings. If we feel so strongly that we want this thing, that it appears in our world, or we are not consciously manifesting and we feel so strongly anger, we feel so strongly sad, and we bring more of that into our lives. So if we can get to the point where we can become more of a master of these emotions, we can really use the emotional body as a tool to create exactly what we want, and to bring the things to us that we really want. But for so long, our emotions have been manipulated by outside forces. We are taught to disconnect from our emotions. Our emotions are bad. We learn to stuff them down. But that doesn't mean they go away. They just kind of simmer down there and end up running our lives for us. It's like we're a dog going for a walk, being pulled along by the leash of our emotions, and we don't know where we're going. But if we can get in control of that, we can have a totally different experience. And the great part about it is, it's not a psychic ability that you have to develop, or that you're born with, and you're born with, or someone else isn't born with, or vice versa. Each of us is a deeply feeling person. So each of us has the same power to harness those feelings and use them in the directions that we would like. And even if you don't want to use them for manifestation, I think that this is an important time to learn, or to get comfortable with them, because so many of us are feeling heightened emotions at this time. I know with the energies going on the planet, a lot is coming up for a lot of people. A lot of emotions are coming up for a lot of people, and it's uncomfortable. But if we can learn how to be comfortable with it, to make friends with these things that are coming up, instead of trying to judge them or stuff them down, I think that is the point that we're being asked to get to right now. Do you have any comment on that, Temple?
I was just thinking about our houses. So Maggie and I went through this period where we would have these dreams about, we each had a separate house, and we weren't exactly sure do you remember this?
Yes.
We weren't exactly sure what was going on in these dreams. And while we were both dreaming about having a house that we thought was our house, we felt these houses were our house. And every different room that we would go to would be specific for us. Some would be like dilapidated, some would be really shiny and pretty. And even some of the house portion, or like I remember in one of my experiences, I walked into this entryway of this beautiful house, and it was completely run down. Like you could tell at once, it was probably like, I don't know, for those of you who know history, it was probably like this grandiose, like Victorian house at some point. But when you walked up the steps, there was this balcony area. And this balcony area had all these glass museum cases, and they were dusty, and they were covered in fabric, and there were large artifact pieces just sitting in chairs, or like on pedestals with fabric thrown over them. And it took us a while to figure it out. And we have a wonderful teacher that helps us with these things. So it finally came down to the point of, this is our home. This is us. I don't know how you want to call it, Maggie, our body, our soul, it encompasses all of us. This is the home. So if you go into a room and that room is like dilapidated, or there is something missing from that room, or there is something out of place in that room, that's like a portion of your work that you're working on, or that needs to be worked on, whether that's emotional, or whether it's past life, or whether it's you have to figure it out. And so as you're working on these things, not only are you building yourself up, but you're also building and fixing your home, your temple. And that makes you more, I think, solidified in knowing who you are and being able to hold that power. Was there anything of your home that that it took you by surprise, or like that it took you a while to figure out, and then once we got it figured out, we were like, oh, do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I remember that I was in this very large home with many floors, and I was going through all of the floors and going through all of the rooms and trying to find a room to settle down in as my own room. And I felt comfortable in none of them. And this one didn't feel quite right, and that one didn't feel quite right, and that one was kind of creepy. And our teacher helped me, and Temple helped me to recognize that I couldn't find my master bedroom in this home because I was coming in to a point where I needed to get comfortable with myself. I really needed to own who I was. And in the dream, I couldn't find the room that belonged to me because I hadn't owned who I was at that point yet. So it was very powerful having these dreams.
Yeah, and I think that as something that we've learned is that the dreams that you are having now, or the dreams that we are having now, are more powerful than ever. Now they're really trying to, if you can remember your dreams and you're journaling them, now they're really trying to show us through our dream world what needs to be worked on, or where we need to go, where we need to be. And they're using a lot of symbology, where like in the past, I mean, this is always the past, right? You have dreams. Some of them are real experiences from other dimensions, other past lives, and some of them are just weird. And these are the weird ones that don't really make any sense, are usually the ones that have the symbols in, and have the odd experiences in, that actually do mean things, but sometimes they're kind of convoluted, and you have to actually sit there and meditate to sort stuff out. So do you want to, Val's got a question. Otherwise, I was thinking we could either talk about like our working with raw stuff, and then we could do some channeling for questions, unless you want to do some channeling now. What do you think?
Is it a question that...
Let me tell you what her question is.
Okay.
So Val says, sometimes I feel really nervous for no reason at all. Any ideas what this means? I would have to say, like, just off the top of my head from what they're telling me, I would have to say, Val, that when you feel nervous, it's not for no reason. There's a reason there. And so what needs to happen in order for you to better understand this would be that when this nervousness comes on you, you need to stop for a moment and just think, okay, what am I doing? What was I thinking? Where am I? And so you can kind of start putting these pieces together of when this is happening, is it the same thing? Am I thinking the same thing? Am I in the same experience? Am I in the same place when this is all happening? And I'm guessing, I'm pretty sure, but I'm guessing that once you take the time to just, you get nervous, you stop, and you breathe in through your nose, release through your mouth, you will have a better understanding of why you're nervous. Now we can definitely see if we can channel something for you or throw cards for you, but that was just the first thing that came into my head. And then Jody says, I feel like I have had this convo with you all before. So she's like hopping timelines and like seeing possible future timelines.
I'm sure we all know each other from many lifetimes and many different experiences before. So we probably have had this conversation in one arena or another many times before.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to talk about Ra first, or do you want to like do some channeling? I don't know. I don't know how many people are, but we have 5 people watching. So what
Okay.
do you guys want to get your
About
questions
Raw, and then
together?
maybe I can channel him or you can channel him and we can answer some
Yeah.
questions for some people.
If you guys have questions, you want to get them together and put them in the chat. And then once we get some questions, we can do some cards or some channeling and we really want to give you guys a chance to ask about things that are like Val's question, why is she nervous? Or I'm really working on this. Can you give me some insight? Stuff like that. So feel free to put your questions in, and if we can answer them, we definitely will. So one of the main reasons that Maggie and I there's a lot of reasons why Maggie and I are together. But we have something in common, and like I'm not really sure how to preface this, but we both are very familiar with Ra, and so if you don't know who Ra is, at like the easiest level of understanding, he is the Egyptian sun god, and he is like the man. We're normally like the man of the hour. But he is super wonderful. We absolutely love him. And we thought maybe we would take this time to just fill you guys in on like our journey with him, because I think it's really important. I think it's really important because this is one of the reasons that we're here tonight, right?
Yeah,
So,
one of the biggest ones.
So I don't know how you want to start this, or if you want me to start it, or what you think.
Well, Temple is the one out of the two of us by far who knows the most about our lives in ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian history. Not I am less knowledgeable about the histories of things. I do know that Ra came to us both around maybe a year and a half ago to bring us through a process to initiate us into, I don't know how you would.
Well, what he calls it, he calls it the daughters of Ra, is what he calls it. But it would basically be like, in his world, it would be like priestesses of Ra, right? And so this was something that in this life, we can only remember so much. And so it's not like this is the only life. This has been something that's kind of ongoing, but we reached a point in our development where he could finally come to us and say, okay, we're we're ready for your initiation, type of thing, right?
Right. I think that we were trained in other lifetimes for this. We were priestesses in other lifetimes. We worked with him closely in other lifetimes. And in this lifetime, both of us had to go through a pretty grueling period of testing. I know personally that I was, I don't want to get too much into it because it's not a totally positive experience, but I had to deal with a lot of negativity and a lot of what I would consider attacks for about a year straight. And once I learned how to properly use my energy and defend against those kind of things, that was around the time that Ra came to me. So it was very much an initiation for me that I had to get through to get to the point where I was ready for what Temple and I went through.
Yeah, and for myself, it was a lot of the same stuff. Now, I'm always aware of so many of my different my ongoing experiences in other realms that, I was also dealing with SSP stuff, and there was a lot of stuff. This stuff is really vague, but there was a lot of hardships that I was going through and trying to find my way through. And through it all, I would do meditations, and this is years and years already, where I would have no idea why Ra would be in my meditation, but he would talk to me as in a very comfortable way, a very family oriented way, or a very community-oriented way. So I'm just trying to think, like, 'cause we don't want to spend tons of time on this, because, but so let me say this. So through the whole thing, I would have these meditations, and he would help initiate me through processes, and I would have to perform things. Now, let me give you an example. So, this is not a raw example. This is just like an ancient Egyptian priestess example. So, in the Isis priestesses, historically, they would have to go through this ceremony and this initiation where, if they got to like the upper echelon level, they would be put into this sarcophagus, and they would have been given like some sort of drug, and they would have this mission that they would have to fulfill in the different realms, and they would have like 3 days to do it. Now, whether that's 3 human days or 3 days in their other realm, I don't really remember, but I do remember having to go through various trials, and then if you can do them all, the last one would be helping somebody who has, and this is like ancient Egyptian belief systems, so bear with me, helping someone who was not able to reincarnate because their the feather in the heart, when they got weighed, the heart was heavier, and so they weren't allowed to reincarnate. So one of the last things you would do is you would go to this realm where those are who are not allowed to reincarnate, and you would work with them and talk with them, and you would bring one back. You would bring a soul back. So then they would be allowed to reincarnate. And if you could do all this, then you would be initiated into the goddess Isis priestesses for a specific purpose of becoming like, I don't want to say winged pharaoh, but these were specific women who could view timelines. They could go in between worlds to get the answers that were needed. They were very highly looked upon, and they had a very high status. And so it's interesting when you're thinking about how are we going through this raw thing in our 3D human world. But basically, when we sleep, we do it in our astral. And so we had a process that we had to go through as well. And the interesting thing is, usually I'm the one who is really good about remembering things, remembering my dreams or my astral experiences. But that night when we had the last of our initiations, I didn't remember a thing. I had feelings, which normally never happens. And Maggie got to view and remember the whole thing. And I had been away. I wasn't at home at the time that this happened. And I came out onto the dock because we were staying on a lake. And I sent Maggie a text, and I was like, I don't know, but I know I have to look at the sun. Do you remember this? I was like, I have to look at the sun. And so I did. And then I sent her this text, and you're like, oh my gosh, I had to do that too this morning. So then we hook in with Ra later, and we asked him about this, and he said that was the final stages. They had given us special drops, and so if we could look into the sun and pass the test, we're like, we wouldn't go blind, which seems kind of ridiculous, but then we would be initiated. And so Maggie remembers us like almost being baptized, like that's, I like to use that analogy, but we had white linen gowns on, and we were coming out of the pool, and I don't know, it was pretty special. And so we're in contact with Ra a lot. Like he's always with us, and like we can ask him questions, and when we're helping people, he will come through and he will just tell us what to do, and we do it. And we, all 3 of us, that's the link of the pyramid. It would be Ra and Maggie and myself. And do you want to add anything to that? I feel like I'm rambling now.
No, you're not rambling at all. I'm just trying to put it succinctly, because it's something that I continue to try to wrap my head around every day that I work with Ra, You know, we all do so much work in the astral and on other planes, and then we have to live here on Earth in the 3D. And it's hard to have a full understanding of anything that any of us goes through to the full understanding of how it's happening in all of these different places. But I think that what I was told at the end of the initiation was that working with Ra in this way and being initiated in this way means that we will uphold and protect the principles of the light on this earth. And we have been tasked with doing that and initiated into doing that in this lifetime. And that's what it boils down to, in my mind, at least.
I would definitely agree. And also within protecting the light on Earth and getting Earth to that next vibrational level, and helping others work through their own journeys. One of Ra's biggest focuses right now is the divine feminine, and so we get to have a lot of interesting discussions with him about his thought processes on what's currently going on down here. And I don't know, like
yes, the rising of the divine feminine is something that Ra has talked about every single time I've channeled him for the last 6 months. Probably he is very committed to the rising of the feminine collective on the earth, because everything in the universe is a balance, you know, and this is just the law of things, masculine and feminine. This doesn't have anything to do with gender or anything like that. It's just a balance of energies, and the feminine has been out of balance on this planet, as most of us know, for a very long time. People talk about the patriarchy in a negative way, but it's really even deeper than that. It's about the balance of energies on the planet has been thrown off for a very, very long time. And for this ascension to happen as properly and as highly as it needs to happen, the feminine needs to come back into proper balance with the masculine, or else none of this can really happen in the right way at all. Because if the energies aren't balanced, then the energies can't get right for the ascension. So, you know, those of you who are interested in that, Temple and I are both being given a lot of information about the feminine energies rising at this time and all that has to do with that. And doesn't just have to do with the feminine collective, it has to do with everybody. But it's a very, very complex, what's the word? Coming together of energies when that has to do with this, this whole balance coming together right now.
And aside from all of that, like continuing our 3D lives as 3D as we can, because that's really important. And I think I want to stress that, because a lot of people feel like they want to be in these higher realms, that they don't want to deal with 3D stuff. But the whole point of us being here right now is sort of having a footing in both realms while we're mastering the 3D realm and bringing those higher energies into the 3D realm. And so we are constantly working to not only work on ourselves as our temple, as our homes, to like clean our homes and like get them in working order. And we are also constantly working in other realms. And in addition to that, we have our own personal relationships that we're working on, both in the 3D realm and in other realms. And so I'll give you just a small example of mine. You don't have to talk about yours if you don't want to, Maggie. But one of the reasons, and I feel like this is very important for me to say, because I've really missed coming live on YouTube with you guys, because we used to do it all the time and talk about so many things. And one of the reasons I felt that I didn't quite know if I should, or I felt a little stifled, was because I am working through my own personal stuff with Ramses. And I've talked about this before, so it's not like I just don't really mention it very often. But while doing this, because it is such a big portion of like balancing masculine and feminine, it's not only things in like this 3D life. I mean, we're doing this from different realms. And so it's not always easy. But the one thing that he said was that he really didn't want personal information out on the online. And I can totally understand that. And I wanted to respect him. The only issue with that was that so much of what I was learning at the time was because of the stuff that we were going through on different realms and trying to balance the masculine and the feminine and working on past life stuff and like just all kinds of random things. And it's not like you might think, well, Ramses was like in Egypt. Well, yes, he was, but like we have had many other past lives together in other realms and other planets and stuff. So it's not just like his dealings in Egypt. There's a lot more going on as a whole soul. And so in addition to all of that, we both are working on our own masculine, feminine stuff. And it's not just in this 3D, it's lifetimes old. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to put that out there. But now that we are kind of sort of stepping out of our comfort zones today, we are going to start going live more. And we're going to have different topics. And we're going to try to pick a day of the week, right, Maggie? Mm-hmm. We're going to try and pick a day of a week. So we want to know like what works best for you guys. I know we have a lot of people all over the world in different time zones. So we would like to try to get everybody in. So let us know also if you would like to join us, if this works good or if there's a different time where what you're in, what time zone you're in, so we can get that all figured out. And so, John, did you have anything more to say about the masculine and the feminine?
Not too much, because I think that to get into it now, we could talk for hours and hours about it. But I think an important thing to talk about when you're talking about the balance of masculine and feminine, I just want to make it clear. I'm sure this is clear to everyone, but it's not like a patriarchy versus feminism kind of thing. It's really each of us as a person has a balance of the masculine and feminine with us. And then the feminine is really the more emotional side, the more feeling side. And like I was saying before, for so long, we've been taught to stuff our emotions down, stuff them down, not feel them. They're not helping us. They're not our friends. And we're at a point right now where a lot of that is coming up for people because that part of us is not meant to be suppressed. It's not meant for it to be something that we feel bad about. It's meant to be part of our expression, part of our divine expression, part of something that makes us who we are and nothing to be ashamed about. And being vulnerable about that and being unafraid to make things public and talk about things. This is not something that any of us should be scared of. If you're going through something, feel free to bring it up. There are people who want to help you. We want to help you. Don't feel like you have to press any part of you down because it's anything to be ashamed of, or you should be somewhere else or anything like that. These things are coming up for a reason, and you feel the way that you feel for a reason. Because these feelings want to be felt. They want to be expressed. They're tired of being shut down. That's why you're feeling them so strongly right now. So please don't be afraid to be vulnerable, to say how you feel, to even just sit there and feel your own emotions. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to scream. These are all beautiful things. And if there's anything that Temple and I can do, it is to hold space for you through these times, among other things. But I would like to reiterate that this is a safe space for all of you in all of these things.
Yeah, and especially because I know if you're here on this channel, you have also had unique experiences that may seem strange to others, but we want to make this a safe space that you can ask about these experiences, because we all know that we all share unique experiences as we're progressing on our paths and as we grow into ourselves and into our powers. So I want to put that out there too, because I know like some of the things that Maggie and I talk about, we sometimes just have to laugh because I think our world, as our world is changing, we know our world is changing. And eventually they will catch up with what some of the things that we are all experiencing. But we understand that some of these things you just don't feel comfortable just talking to anyone about because they are so strange, or they are so not what the human world wants you to believe, not what the 3D wants you to believe. And so I just want you guys to know that we are completely with you. And if we can help in any way, we definitely want to. So, hey. Also, I was going to say this too. We want to get more of Ra's quotes up on the Temple Beautiful. And Maggie also has an Instagram as well that she's setting up. So we want to get some more of those quotes up because Ra has the best quotes in the entire world. They are so not only powerful, but he has a sense of humor that is just a really unique sense of humor. And so sometimes he says these things and we just all laugh together because they're so on point, but he makes a point to comprise his sentences of in ways that humans would understand, like his old McDonald comment. Mm-hmm. So we want to get some more of those up because I think a lot of people either don't really understand Ra very well, or they are maybe, like, if you do understand him, you know that he is very I'm just trying to like see what he's telling me, because he's like, hang on just one second. Okay, so those of you that know of him, he is definitely a being to respect and to understand that he is not one to take lightly, but at the same time, there's this balance there where just as he commands respect and knows an awful lot about a lot of things, he also has this other side, the softer side, where he really cares about us down here, and he really wants to help us in all the ways that he can. And so hopefully as we progress more, we can kind of bring you both sides, because I think the same thing with Ramses, like most people just know him by the one Ramses side, and there's two sides there. So do you have anything to add to that?
I think that you covered it really well. Ra gets things done. And if you decide to work with him or he decides to work with you, he is not going to coddle you, really. He's going to push you, and he's going to tell you when you are acting like a victim or you could be doing better. But that's not because he's trying to hurt your feelings or make you feel bad. It's because he loves you and he wants to see you get past the things that get you down. And sometimes we all need, a little smack on the behind to get there. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but he's like a stern father sometimes, but in a good way.
Yes. He's like a stern father figure who is also a badass. So we love and appreciate him. And when we come live and are working with you guys and stuff, we are definitely working with him always. So yeah. So what do we want to do now? We have a few questions where Val said, sometimes she feels really nervous for no reason. What does it mean? And then Jody says she does do timeline jumping. Val said she would like to know what my future life consists of, when or if I will find anyone soon to join me on this journey. And then Jody says, this is making so much sense to me. I have a connection with Anubis, but could not figure out what it was about. I just want to say, I want to comment on the future. So in my experience, anytime we're dealing with future lives, you have as many timelines as you have in this now life. You have those many timelines in your future life. So when beings come through to channel or to answer questions, they usually won't give any sort of information about the future, simply because most of the time they aren't allowed to do that. Or if you know them very well, sometimes they can say, well, if you stay on this current path, this could be the outcome. But they will never say specifics, because one of the reasons is it's not written yet. I mean, it's written, but like, we don't know what path you're going to choose, right? So anytime that you get help with something, or anytime you get cards thrown and you get readings, and they say, well, this is in your future, or this is what we see. This is the specific path that you're taking. This is what needs to happen. It's all about how hard you want to work to make that happen. Yeah. And the same thing with like anytime you get healings and things like that, it's all about how much you want to work to keep that energy there to better yourself, where healings can only do so much. Healing by, whether it's channeling or Reiki or whatever healings, it can only do so much for you. You have to do the rest. And Ra is really adamant about, you holding up your end of the bargain and persevering through. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't feel, or you can't experience, or you can't have bad times. What it means is that you understand that you're constantly learning, and you're going to do the best that you can do while feeling and trying to understand everything that's happening to push you forward. So I don't know. Did you want to add anything?
And I totally agree with you. I think that something that I haven't heard taught a lot is that in healing and even channeling, every exchange of energy that you go into with another person or another being, who's working through a person, it's a co-creation with you and that being. That being is not going to come in and do all of the work for you, or pick you up in their magical wings and then plop you down somewhere in the future where you want to be. Not that those futures won't happen, but everything is a co-creation. If you get a healing from somebody, it's up to you how much you accept that healing into yourself. If you receive the healing and then continue on your, continue whatever it is, if you drink too much or you smoke too much and continue doing those things, the healing isn't going to come into you as strongly, or it's not going to work as effectively, because you haven't committed fully to your end of the co-creation of, I want to be healed. No one is going to come in and do all of the work for you. And I can't really compare it to channeling, but it is similar to channeling. They can tell you about probable futures. They can tell you what's in your highest timeline, but you have to commit to that highest timeline. And if you don't commit to it in the right way, or you get thrown off, or a million things could happen, that thing might not happen, but it doesn't mean that the person who told you was wrong. It just means that there were things that intervened between now and the point of that timeline, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So do you have anybody who wants to talk at all, Maggie, or?
1 second.
Cards? Okay.
Ra is here. He would talk if people have questions that are for him. That's what he's saying.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, well, why don't we do this? If he's willing, I'm sure he heard our questions already. So he can give you his opinion on the questions. If you guys have any other questions for Ra, write them down. And if you feel comfortable, Maggie, would you want to channel? I mean, and if Ra wants to come through, that's great. If he doesn't, that's okay too. So
no, he's definitely here. Just
okay.
Let me use the bathroom really quick and I'll be right back.
Yeah. So while Maggie is heading out for a second, she'll be right back. I also want to just touch on this whole like 555 because Alicia Rose brought it up. And this is a really great time. It just worked out so perfectly because for us, there's so many things about stepping out of our comfort zones and letting go of the old and bringing in the new. And so this is exactly what we're doing now. We're letting go of the old and we're bringing in the new. And I still get emails about like super soldier programs and secret space programs and things like that. And while I'm happy to answer them the best I can, it's one of those topics where I do understand that I'm here to help people with it as much as I can. But when you are in those energies, it's a lower energy vibration. And so this is one of the reasons that I'm not saying it's a bad energy. I'm just saying that it's a lower energy vibration. And so that is why I haven't been focusing on that topic lately. I've sort of made my peace with it. And Maggie and I have even helped a few people with it in private sessions. But I probably won't be doing tons of live videos on that topic anymore, just so you guys are aware of that if that's what you're looking for. I know there's a lot of other people out there who are doing it, but you can always feel free to ask questions about it. If I can answer them, I will answer them. It's not bad at all. It's just that right now with where I am and Maggie and I in our co-creation and working with Ra, I really need to keep myself, my temple clean and my temple healthy. And in order to do that, I cannot be focusing in those lower vibrational energies. So I think you guys understand that, but I wanted to throw that out there as well. Seeing that we're like, that was something stepping out of my comfort zone that I wanted to tell you. So we will definitely channel Ra. I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in for this. And yeah, as soon as Maggie gets back, I'm going to grab some more water. So did you guys have any questions for Ra? Put them down. We'll see what he has to say. And then we can take some questions. So I'll just start at the top and work our way down. So, okay, Maggie is back.
Hi, I'm back. Sorry, it took a little while.
I'm gonna run and get some water really quick. So
Okay,
feel
sure.
free to get into your channeling mode and I will be right back.
Okay, I just want to tell you guys while Temple is gone, Ra is all about, at this point, in his channelings through me at least, he's all about self-empowerment. You know, issues that you have in your human life day to day. He really wants to help you work through those things in particular. So if you have any blocks that require healing or anything that you feel is blocking you in your life now, that's blocking you from the thing that you would like to get to, the thing that you would like to do, the life that you would like to pull in, he really wants to come in and work with people on those issues and help clear the way for you. So especially if you have questions in that line, please ask them and he will come through and give you the advice that he has or give you the energy that he feels that you require to get to where you want to be. He's really, like I said, all about self-empowerment right now. So now in this time, in this channeling would be the perfect time to ask those kind of questions if you feel guided to. And I know that he's very strongly motivated right now to come through and help people with that kind of guidance and that kind of energy. So if you want to keep that in mind, I know that he would very much like to help with those things. And I'm going to do a bit of a meditation and get ready to get into channeling. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat and Temple will read them through to Ron. He will do his best to give you the answers, the advice, the energy that you all need right now. Are you ready, Temple? You're muted.
I am muted, but I am ready.
Okay. Ra is saying that he has information for the people who are going to ask the questions, but he says that you also have information for people too. So in the vein of co-creation, he says, please interject with whatever guidance, or if you want to pull a card, or if you get any knowings about things, please work with him. And this will very much be a conversation more than just in addition to him channeling. And you know what I mean.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoy Ra. He's coming. He's here. He's strong tonight. He's bringing the fire for you guys. Greetings, I am Ra. It is my pleasure to be with all of you tonight. Temple, could you please convey to me the questions that need to be asked?
Yes, Father. Thank you for coming tonight. Okay, so I don't know if you have any advice. Val says sometimes she feels really nervous, but she doesn't know why she's feeling nervous. And she doesn't know what this means. If you could give her some advice, that would be wonderful.
I have been channeling a lot about this nervous energy lately, this energy of anxiety. Many upon your earth are feeling a heightened nervousness, a heightened anxiety at this point. The energies upon Gaia are streaming in strongly. They are changing your energetic body. They are in many ways changing your physical bodies. The anxiety is in part the reaction of your fields and your physical bodies to this change. It is a significant change that is happening to the collective. You are being upgraded in many ways, and the anxiety is a byproduct of these upgrades, these activations. In many ways, the body does not know how to process these energies because they are new. It is simply the energy of the new coming into the body, and the body trying to figure out how to deal with it. And in the human experience, this often manifests as an anxious energy when something new comes in and the body cannot identify it yet. Fear not. All of these changes are for your good. They are elevating all of you. This anxiety will fade as long as you do not try to suppress it. Tell your body that it is safe. Tell your body that good processes are being done to it. Tell your body that it is all right to rest. It does not have to power through these things. It is not that it is tired and you need to power through. This is a time to allow yourselves to rest. When the anxiety comes up, take a breath. Tell yourself, this is safe. I am safe. There is nothing wrong that is happening. I am simply going through a process of change. This anxiety should lessen in the next couple of months. It will not be a quickness of the energies dissipating, for this summer is bringing in high energies. But if you can communicate to your field, to your body, that these things are good, these things are normal, the energy of anxiety will lessen. And you will feel yourself being elevated. Yes, you will feel tired at times, but that is all right, because by the time these upgrades are done, you will feel like a bright, shiny new person in many ways. For you in particular, Val, Your anxiety is heightened by expectations that you have for yourself. You feel that you could be doing things better. You feel that other people think that you could be doing things better. Release this energy. This is an old energy for you now. And by old, I mean, this is something that you have felt to try to get along in this 3D world. Pressures that you felt that you had to live up to be a human operating within the paradigm of this society. This paradigm is shifting, and these expectations hold far less weight than they used to. These things that you expect of yourself, these things that you believe other people expect of you, or they may in fact expect of you, are not the expectations of your highest good. These are third dimensional expectations, and we are moving into the fourth dimension. When these anxieties come up, allow yourself to feel them. It is an old version of you being shed from you. You are much like a butterfly in a cocoon right now, and it is layers of the cocoon coming off. Do not think that you are doing anything wrong, because you are not. Say, thank you, anxiety. I know that you are trying to protect me. I know that you think that you know what is best for me, but you do not. I am heading to a new place, a better place, a higher place. And these pressures, these ideas of who I should be, have no place in the person that is the greater Val that I am becoming. The best advice that I can give to you is to feel these things and let them go. Breathe them out. You feel anxiety, breathe in. Breathe in the positivity. Breathe in God's love. Breathe in Gaia's love. And breathe out the anxiety. And should you make this your intention, you will find very quickly that the anxiety dissipates if you remove from your mind the expectations that you have for yourself. You cannot hold these expectations at the same time expecting the anxiety to remove itself. Take yourself away from all of these pressures completely. They do not serve you. Allow yourself to be who you are. Allow yourself to dream as you would like to dream. And these thoughts that you have, these lower third dimensional thoughts, have no place in the greater dream that is your future. I can sense that many of you are struggling with this anxiety and anxieties in a similar way. This is a very human experience, and there is nothing wrong with it. Temple, please join me in sending out some energy to this collective group to help them clear this energetic field of anxiety and nervousness. Would you like to do some language?
I would love to. Rasata kuhona motaka poshatanyata no sokototonia ikititia kataana mokolo shoto to 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 naskata nata posotona sayatra poko poshana nayata. Namaste.
Thank you, my daughter. It is
I also-
important. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Father.
Interrupting you.
I also pulled a card for Val as well, and I'm just going to read the card. It was number 3, detox, cleanse, and restore yourself. I'll just read it as is, and you can take what you need from it. It says, social media, electronics, mind-altering substances, food, all these things can be toxic and damaging when overindulged. Detox says that it's time for you to cleanse your body and soul. Rest is required, especially in matters of overstimulated mind and emotions due to social media, smartphones, and expectations. Communication is in excess too. At this time, it is time to be quiet and consider your authentic self, to create a space to heal and deal with life up until this point. The girl of detox is lying down on a soft bed of shifting leaves. A carafe of liquor set aside for now, she has a wonderful life and her dreams are sweet, even when laced with fear, because she is not afraid of learning her lessons. They float from her subconscious like luscious pearls of bliss, because she knows when to rest and retreat in order to expand within. Detox is also the card of dream interpretation. This is time this is time to pay attention to your dreams, for they are not just flushing out your active brain, they are messages and signposts coming through to guide you.
Beautiful.
Go ahead.
Allow your dreams to become the reality. Many of you have dreams because these events, the things that happen in your dreams, the things that you feel, when they are higher dreams, of course, not when they are clearing dreams, these are things that you are meant to bring down to the denser 3D reality. They are things that are meant to become part of your life. So yes, do pay close attention to your dreams, and do believe your dreams to be something, to be a part of your life here. You can bring whatever dream that you desire to the reality, should you believe that you can. That card was a beautiful confirmation.
Val says she says, I think I need a sacral chakra and heart chakra healing. I also need help with self-worth and self-love. And she says she has a problem because she cannot turn her mind off, and she has had sleep problems for years.
The sacral and the heart, she said.
Yes. And help with self-worth and self-love.
There is so much here in healing for the individual and healing for especially the feminine collective, also the masculine collective, but these issues are coming up quite strongly for the feminine collective. I could spend the next 2 hours on your sacral in relationship to your self-worth, which is then in relation to your heart. If there are other questions, I would like to make this a topic of its own the next time we come together, because I would like to spend 1 or 2 hours in depth helping you to work on your sacral and the energy of self-worth. It is not something I can do in minutes. It is a deep energy that I would like to give the respect of greater time to. What do you think, Temple?
I think that is excellent. This is an issue that has come up for so many that I know. So I think it would be a very good topic for later when we have more time to decide.
I would very much like to help you with this issue. I would very much like to give you my personal wisdom and healing, especially as it regards to the sacral and its energy to self-worth and the heart. These are things that need to be addressed at this time, that sorely need to be addressed, brought up, and sent energy to. Please make this your next topic of discussion. We will make a whole evening out of it.
Yes, Father. Okay, so the next question, it's not really a question, and I don't know if you want to focus on this, but I will let you decide. Jody says, this is making so much sense to me. We were talking about Egyptian energies in the past. So she says, this has been making so much sense to me. I have a connection to Anubis, but I could not figure out what it was about. I don't know if you want to take questions like that tonight.
As you know, I am not focusing my attention on past life questions so much, but this is not really a past life question. You do have a connection to Anubis. It is why you like the canine species so much. You and Anubis are very much connected. I would hesitate to tell you too much about the connection, because these are things that you are meant to discover on your own. I can say, when he pops into your mind, When you find yourself in an energy where you are thinking of him, connect even more deeply to him, for he is with you at that time. Ask him what he would like to tell you, perhaps what he would like to tell you about your connection. Your connection, I do not want to misconstrue this word into certain meanings of it, but your connection with him is very intimate. And I am not sure if he wants me to share them over a stream such as this, but I can confirm that yes, you are connected. You were connected in the life in ancient Egypt where he came to this earth as Anubis. You were an earth being and he was a being from another place, and you made your connection thusly. Your telepathy is already good. You can speak to him in your head when you feel him around. He will give you the information that you require. And if you would like a more in-depth information, I would recommend that you connect with him or with someone who can help you with this more privately, because there are many details about this connection that are, as I said, more intimate and private. But I can confirm it in this way.
Yes, I just pulled a card and she got the card that talks about support from spirit is on the way. Expect to get into the right relationship with the divine, and many conditions will line up to provide you with all the answers you need. Ask and you shall receive. So that is a confirmation for you. Let's see what else. Val was wondering if, wait, let me just make sure I have this correct. Okay, so she has quite a few questions here. We kind of touched on this. She wants to know if what she can expect in her future life. And we talked about this a little bit. She just feels very lonely. And so she's wondering how she can work through that, or how she can find someone to share her self with.
I do feel your loneliness, Val. I am sorry that you feel this way. You do not deserve to feel this way. You have had many things happen to you in your life that made you feel less than, that made you feel different, that made you feel isolated from many of the groups you came into contact with so far in this incarnation, in this physical life. You are feeling lonely. You have internalized so much these ideas about who other people made you believe that you are. And there is a part of you that feels like she is not worthy of companionship. You need to work with this aspect of yourself. You need to give her some loving, nurturing, and care. You need to speak to yourself kindly. You need to do kind things for yourself. You need to make a friend of yourself, of this part of you. She is not who you are. This is not how you are defined. This is not what I'm saying. But there is a part of you that has been made to feel like she is unlovable. And so the people who want to come in to love you, and they are out there, Val, they are out there. But you need to create this receptive energy channel. And this channel will be created when you get just a bit more into the energy of loving yourself, of healing this part of you that has been made unfairly to feel unlovable. I would like to give you a bit of healing for this now. This healing is for many who are watching. This is not something that is wrong with you, which is unique only to you. So many humans feel this way. This is a part that is coming up for healing for many humans right now, because all of you who are feeling lonely at this time have a beautiful soul family, have beautiful humans incarnated on this earth who are just waiting to meet you, but you need to feel worthy of meeting them. You need to feel worthy within yourself first, and then they will come. It is not a punishment that you have to do this work first and then they will come. It is simply how energy works. When you align with this feeling of worthiness within yourself, the things that you are truly worthy of come to you. They come to you. They have been waiting to come to you. You just need to remove this energy of unworthiness. I would like to send you some energy for this now, to you in particular and for the collective who is here watching. Temple, would you please join me in doing this? I'm with Gaia. I believe that she and I will make this a co-creation with Temple, for these energies touch on many places within the human energetic field that I alone cannot touch. It needs the touch of the mother.
Yes.
Are you willing to do this with me, Temple?
I am, Father.
Allow me to start. I will bring through Gaia for a small amount of time. And Temple, if you could please round out and seal the energy, send it out with strength as we are done with our language. Is that all right with you?
Yes.
Oof. I would like for you who are willing to receive this energy to focus on the space between your sacral chakra and your solar plexus chakra, the place between your belly button and where your, right above your belly button. Right above your belly button is the good place for this. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I said, but this is the place right here. Aka, akata, akata, ku'u, akata. Lu'uka, akata, akata, akata. La'oko, ono, akatu, ukuna, akatu, unaka. La ana kutu u, akatu u, akana, uku. Akatu u, kutu, kutu, uno, ahaha, la anaka. La hate, ata, siki, a ata. Lu'ukuto, ana, akutu. Po oyo oko a lahanda tu la a ana kasati iki ana ke akata puyu koto uruhu no okoto yakanda ukute anaku yoko ana he. Sea sana satu ruhu te asata. Luhuruhata sikataya suturuhata. Luhuruhata si. For your reference, I am Gaia here for this moment, speaking to the aspect of you that requires the love to come into the balance of the sense of worth within yourself. I'm speaking to this aspect of your individual and collective selves, to elevate them, to give them the injection of love and care that they need, so that they may know that they are worthy of all of the things, all of the connections that they desire. Lantasati isayasata, turuata sineasata, tuduyasati kanasatu huyayata. Manasa si asatu usu atate. Landa satu umanasa sisiana se asata, la ana se asati isa asati, mundu kasana, mundu sasasi anasi, mustoya asata, susaya satiki, yana sasa sumaya sati. Temple, please.
Satia seguno nia potolo. No siet chahana nieta. Ikanoama. Ia to hianana. Ia to kopatiata shkatatiana nileasa. Mona niatoko. Bota siata niata. Kuahana. Muokiata ya uona. Naya ata dia satuta niatika puta goskutushuna diatika lutia pututu kosha dianana.
Andasi handata, dura handata, landata handata, duandata handa. It is important that you remember that you are worthy. Tell yourself at least once a day. You can do it right when you wake up in the morning. I am worthy of companionship. This is what you are seeking. For the rest of you, for Maggie, I am worthy. What do you feel like you need to be worthy of now? I am worthy of a new car. She wants a new car. It doesn't matter what it is. I am worthy of anything that you want or all of the things that you want. Tell yourself, affirm to yourself, I am worthy of these things. This will raise your vibration, bring you to a greater sense of power within yourself. And as your power rises, your vibration rises, your energy becomes stronger. And with the strength of that energy, it has more power to pull the things to you that are meant for you. You have all of the power in these endeavors, my friends and my children. You have so much power within you. It is nothing that anyone outside of you controls. It starts with this kind of energy. Telling yourself, reminding yourself. It is more of a reminding yourself of who you are. You all came to this earth plane as powerful beings, and powerful beings you are. Powerful beings to accomplish all of the things in the world you desire. Powerful beings worthy of all of the love in the world that you desire. All of these things are yours. Do not let them tell you that you are not worthy of it. Do not let anyone else tell you that you are not worthy of it. And least of all, do not tell yourself in any way that you are not worthy of it. You should be your greatest cheerleader. You should be the greatest advocate for your own power. And it may feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel like, I am not powerful. What I feel like I'm lying. Yes, it will feel like this at first. It felt like this with this one at first when I was trying to teach her how to channel me. She didn't think that she was worthy. She didn't think that she could do it. And here I am channeling through her. Her voice is soft. My voice is booming. She is doing it. And this was the last thing, speaking like this, she ever thought that she was worthy of or could do. This applies to every single area in every single one of your lives. Get past your discomfort. Get past your false smallness. Get past this lie. Throw it out from your lives. It does not serve you. Get used to speaking of yourself in a grand way, and you will become grand in all of the ways that you wish to be. It is this way, my friends and my children. It is this way. The power is completely yours. But I go on. Are there other questions?
There are. Thank you, Father. Let's see. There was a really good one. Oh, is it Devon? I don't know. Somebody will have to tell me if I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, I apologize. Wanted to know what is blocking me from connecting with my soul tribe. I feel so alone and different from the others, and I always have.
It is similar to what I just now spoke of. You feel different because you are different. You are different from your family. You are different from those that you have been around in your physical life. Excuse me, this body. But that is not to say that there is anything wrong with you. And you know this. There is nothing wrong with you. You are different in a very beautiful, a very unique way. You hold a vibration in your space among your peers that no one else does. And it is one of strength. It is one of change. It is one that others around you will soon see that you are an example for them, that they should rise to your example, that being different in the way that you are is something to be looked up to and not something strange. These times are coming for you and for those of you who are listening who feel this way. The reason that you have trouble attracting your soul tribe, just like with Val, they are coming, they are there, but it is the way of expediting this process comes down to you. Even in how you formed your question, you say, I've always felt so different. But I don't feel that you said it with a positive energy. You said, oh, well, I'm so different. This is frustrating. No, I'm so different. And this is what is great about me. I'm so different. I'm not like the rest of these people who believe and follow these things that everyone tells them to believe. I believe what I believe. I believe my truth. I believe the truth as it is channeled to me from my oversoul, from my higher divine self. This is the truth of me. This is how I live. And I have the courage to live this way where those around me do not. And for this reason, I do not fit in with those people. But I don't want to fit in with those people. Guess what? You don't want to fit in with those people, but you already know this. Begin embracing the differences about yourself, the parts of yourself that make yourself different, even the strangest ones, even those ones that are the least mainstream, even those things that you hesitate or have hesitated to tell anyone. Exalt those in yourself. Tell yourself, I love this about myself. I have no one to tell right now about this, but I'm going to celebrate it in my life. I'm going to do these things on my own. I'm going to exalt myself in this way on my own. I'm going to love myself for these especially strange things, especially. And you know what? Those people who also resonate with those strangest, most beautiful parts of you will come to you once you start celebrating them in a higher way. This is a time for you to celebrate yourself. You have gone through so much, particularly lately in these past months and years. You have overcome a great deal so that you could be in this space of strength. You have become so very strong. Use this strength to celebrate yourself. You did not get through all of this for nothing, to fit in, to feel alone because you don't fit in. Use this strength to celebrate what makes you special, even if it is just in your own company right now. And the more that you put the energy into those different, beautiful parts about yourself, the more you pour your own love into those things, the more it will be a magnet for those people in your soul tribe who resonate with those things exactly. And those are the things that you would like to be understood on this level by other people. The people who understand you on those levels will come to you the greater you begin to celebrate those things within yourself.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Jody has a question. She says, I'm a medium. I have lost 9 people in my life since July, and I would like to know how to heal myself from the depression so that I can help other people.
One moment. Jody, being a medium yourself, you are able to connect with these spirits who have passed. The depression that you feel is a very normal one. It is nothing wrong with this depression, but you have more power here than you realize. Being a medium, connect with these spirits who have passed. Ask them for the information, for the energy. You need something from each of them. It is not something that must be an involved process. It is not something that you must toil over days and months to do. Call each of these ones that you miss into your space. Ask them to fill you with their energy. Ask them to fill you with their love. Ask for the space missing within you that you feel is a space missing because they are gone. Ask them to fill that space. Ask them to fill you with the knowing that they are still with you, for they all are still with you. They are all watching over you. They are in a greater place now, even than they were on earth. to give you the energy, to give you the support, the love that you need to go forward in your mission of service. And my dear daughter, you have so much love to give. Connect with them and know that you can. They will fill these spaces in your heart. It is these empty spaces in your heart which are causing this depressive feeling. But reconnecting with each of them, even if it is just for the space of a meditation in the afternoon, the morning, or at night, will help you fill these spaces and help you relieve yourself of this heavier energy even more quickly. And you will know that they are still with you, and you can still have a loving, deep relationship and connection with all of them. Connect with them. They would each like to connect with you. Was that all right?
I'm muted again. Sorry. All right. Devon says that she feels that she's drawn towards shamanism. Is studying and learning the way of the shaman my highest, most auspicious path?
The Way of the Shaman. Maggie has read a book. She has a book called The Way of the Shaman. Is this what she is referring to, or is she referring to the general way of the shaman?
Probably the general way of the shaman. I'm not sure what the book is Maggie read, but I think the idea of shamans throughout history, what they do, what they symbolize, how they work with people to help clear things. I think that's probably what she
asked if studying the way of the shaman is her highest path.
Yes, the highest, most auspicious path.
One moment. I do not want to define it as the highest, most auspicious path, because in my opinion, if I were to say that, then that would rule out anything else that comes into her field that may bring her joy. Studying shamanism is among your higher paths, but you have many high paths. There are many high paths and high timelines in your field that will bring you to where you need to go. If studying shamanism is of your highest interest and brings you a great deal of joy and excitement at this time, yes, follow this path. You have had several past lives as shamans in different places upon this planet, and your soul is already downloaded with this knowledge. If you connect with the shamans of your past, the shamans who you once were, they will teach you many things. However, if you find that you have an interest in something else in a few months or a year's time, it does not mean that the way of the shaman is not the correct way for you. It is simply that shamanism in this modern time is a bit different than how it was in past societies, or even in the societies where shamanism is still practiced in the way that it was in the past. There is a new form of shamanism, if you would like to call it that, emerging on this earth among people like yourselves who are in this room, that does not have to do everything with the old ways. It is incorporating newer ways, newer practices, newer ideas, newer ways of thinking that can reach the masses in a greater way. Shamanism is something that the people of the tribes benefit from greatly. The masters within the tribes help small groups of people in a very masterful way. But those of you who are in this room are bringing those knowledges that you have from the past, those wisdoms that you have from past lives of shamanism, those teachings that you pick up in your interest on this earth plane, and you are integrating it into something that is new for this time and unique for this time. So yes, this is one of your highest paths and highest timelines, but do not limit yourself in the idea of what shamanism means. I have all of the greatest respect for the deep shamanistic traditions of the people who practice them and of the past. But like everything, these practices are evolving. So please keep that in your mind as you continue in your explorations and studies.
Thank you. Let's just see here. So Val was wondering if you have any, she's wondering if you had any information on Rh negative blood and what sets those people apart from other people.
I have spoken about this before. Rh negative blood is something that is very important to certain people. But each of you have unique blood. As star seeds, if you want to call it that, as human-born aliens, as light workers, your blood is all very unique and different in very unique and different ways. Rh negative blood is something that is very prized and very important to specific groups of people on the earth. But this is my personal opinion. Others may have different opinions about this. In my opinion, the blood is no more or less special than the blood of those of you who are in this room. It is just a specific, unique kind of blood, which is important to specific groups on this planet. And I would not like to get into it any more deeply than that, because there is a lot of negativity and conspiracy and mystery surrounding this Rh negative blood type group. And I do not want to feed into that anymore or have my words misinterpreted at all about this topic.
Thank you, Father. All right, let me just look one more time. I think the questions are maybe at an end here for questions. Is there anything? Oh, there was just one more question. Someone asked about shutting the brain off. Do you have any tips or tricks for humans to quiet their brain at all?
I will defer to you on this, my daughter, because you are someone who has had a very busy mind, and you have done quite a good job in learning to quiet it, to do the things within your heart that you are doing so beautifully now. You are a living example. I will defer to your wisdom.
Oh boy, thank you. Speaking from experience, I would say the most important thing that has helped me with this is to realize that my body has to do what I say and has to do what I think and has to do what I command it to do. And so by telling my brain that I am going to shut you off, but reminding my brain that it does not mean I think you are less. It does not mean that I don't have appreciation for you. It does not mean that I don't love you, because I do realize you are important. What it simply means is that at this moment, I need to quiet myself. I need to get in touch with my heart. I need to get in touch with spirit. I need to control the situation so I can do that. And the only way I can do that is to take command of my body and my thought process. And so by telling my brain that I am now shutting you off, but I am not going to have you shut off forever. I'm just shutting you down for the moment. If you would like to stay on, you must go through my heart. This way is what has been most beneficial to me. And it allows my brain to learn to work with my heart, because previous to this, I feel that I probably was not as connected to my heart as I should be. Now, that doesn't mean I was never connected to my heart. It just means that I found a greater connection with my heart, which has allowed me to realize that it's not all about the brain. And so now now that I have the tools and the understanding to realize that I am in control of myself, I now believe that if I tell my brain to shut off, it will shut off. So you see, there's a process to this. First, you have to believe that you are in control of your body. Secondly, you have to believe that you have the ability to switch things on, switch things off. And thirdly, you have to believe that you can command what you need to happen and that it will happen. Once you have mastered those techniques, then you will be able to shut your brain off. And for some people, they need something else. They cannot physically feel like, if I tell my brain to shut off, it will. So you need to try to use music. You need to try to visualize a switch. You need to really focus on what best works with you, because everybody is different. And so I would definitely try to re-listen to this, because I totally just channeled this whole thing, and go through the steps. And then after you go through the steps, you will be able to have better control over your body, over how you choose to allow your body to function. And this is really the key with so much of this idea of self-worth, so much of this idea of loving yourself, so much of this idea with feeling anxious. This all ties in to giving yourself the appreciation and love for yourself that you deserve, and realizing that although you may be in this human body, it is your human body, it is your temple. So you can either let other people control it, or you can believe in yourself enough to take charge of yourself. And once you take charge of yourself, all of these things that we talked about will be a lot easier to grasp and will be a lot easier to embody. And so this is what we are going to work with you on with Ra, and we look forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful answer, my daughter.
Thank you, Father.
I'd really like to add on top of the wonderful information that you've already given. The brain is used to being in hyperdrive all of the time. As a collective species, you've been taught to rely on your brain for everything. Your brain has the answers. Your brain must figure it out. It is stressed. It is anxious. It is always looking for answers because it believes that it needs to be finding answers all of the time. The constant stimuli, problems, stressors in your world, your brain does not get a rest. Understand this about the brain and be kind to it as well when you are asking it to shut down. Say, brain, you have worked so hard for me today. I understand that you believe that there is so much that we have to think about, so much that we have to get done. But I give you permission to rest now. It is safe for you to rest now. Let's enter the heart for a few moments where things are peaceful and still. You as a species were meant to lead with the heart, and the brain was meant to be a tool for the heart. The brain was not meant to do as much work as it is called to do. So if you tell it that it is safe to relax, that it can shut off for a moment, if you give it that grace, you'll find that it wants to shut down. It wants to go to sleep for a while, because let me tell you, all of your brains are tired. Be gentle with it, just as you are gentle with yourselves. The parts of yourselves that are anxious, the parts of yourself that need love, that feel unworthy. Be gentle with all of these things, because these things plague you, because these parts of you feel so overworked, so tired, so frazzled. Remember to treat all of these aspects with the utmost kindness, the way that you would speak to a child who is in distress. Speak to all of these aspects of yourselves, because in many ways they are very much like this. And that is all that I wanted to add.
Again, I am muted. So it is almost 9 o'clock my time, almost 10 o'clock Maggie's time. We do have 2 more questions, but I'm wondering if you would like to take them or if you would like to close for the night, and we can always do this another time. Remember, you guys, this is something that this was our big coming out. So if you have questions, you can think about this for the next time, because we will be here. Rob will be here with us. Let me know what you would like to do, Father.
Unless these questions, my daughter, are related to what I've been speaking about, I would invite the askers of these questions to please ask them the next time I come through. I would be happy to answer them. But if they branch off in any way, anything I was just speaking of, and I could answer them in a quicker fashion, I would be happy to do that now. How are these questions?
Let me see here. Let's see. Let's see.
I do not want to start on any new topics tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a new topic. And then let's see, Alicia Rose. She says, I'm stepping out of my comfort zone since my journey a year ago, but I cannot for the life of me remember my dreams. Before this journey, I remembered them all. Is it possible that something is happening for a reason? I always used to have vivid, magical dreams. I could answer that, and then you could add if you would like, because I don't think Alicia actually had a question today, so this could be her question.
Please answer.
But okay, so in my experience, Alicia, is that when you come out of the closet or when you step up your spiritual journey, your growth, you're coming into other vibrational frequencies that you are now expanded on in a greater way and spending more time in those. So when you relate that to the dream world, it is like stepping up to another realm of experiences. And I can only speak from my personal experiences, but it takes a little bit of time to get acclimated into that next experience. So when you can't remember all of your dreams and you used to, it's not necessarily a bad thing. They either, you're in another realm of understanding now, and so it's not always there yet. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they will come. Or B, they are still fine-tuning everything within your body to be able to jump to that next level of dream remembering as your channeling centers open and as you change into your new vibrational frequency. No, do you have anything to add to that, Father?
Not at this time. You've answered it beautifully in the context of this question. This answer was very relevant to the asker of this question. However, I do think that we will be spending time on the energy and the idea of dreams in the future. So that will be a topic I think you will speak about in the future more in depth.
All right, I wrote it down. Okay, thank you. Oh, Tara T's just joined. I'm glad that you were able to join us. Thank you so much, Father, for coming in tonight. It was unexpected, but it is so much appreciated. Did you want to leave our audience with any sort of final words or a final blessing, perhaps?
There is so much potential with all of you. There is so much light within all of you. Do not let anyone tell you who you are and who you are not, who you want to be, who you dream to be, in many cases, who you are a bit scared to be. That is who you are. Do not let anyone tell you different or sway you from the truth of yourself. This is the greatest message that I can give you. It is the message that I have been repeating to so many at this time, because it is more true now than ever. Break free from these shackles that your world has put on you. You are all capable of so much greatness. You all have so much power within you. I see so much within all of you, and for each of you, I am proud. I am proud at how far you have come, because none of you has had an easy journey. I will leave you with a blessing. If Temple would like to come after me and finish my blessing, that would be wonderful.
Yes, Father.
Yaka ata akata 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 tu'u aya ana satu kuteata akata lahutu koto unu kamalaha na kutu ura hata kata anu usu akata ana akutu aya kata unku ana aka sundu tu huraha hahoto ko amrhayata la anko unu kuhaya hata.
Kuka katia kakakuku kani katia taka aku akia kiki kakakoko koko kakia kakukani kukia koko kokia katia kakokia katia toko kakia tata toto tika tia toto tia tia toto tia toto tia tata tatia koto tia tia koko kakaki koko tia tokia tia koto toto tia tia koko tia tata tia koko tia Namaste. Welcome back. Let me put the gallery on. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Maggie, for bringing Ra through
I hope
tonight.
you enjoyed him. I hope
for
you got
us.
good information for everyone.
You did. So let us know, you guys. What were the things now? Let us know what works best for you as far as like time zones and things. So when we can like work these out, because we don't want to leave. We don't want to leave anybody out. We'll have to see what we can do if we have to even schedule some here and some there just to get everybody in. But again, we want to thank you guys for joining us. And do we have anything else to say?
I don't know. I'm just coming back.
No, you're still not back.
It was a pleasure to channel for everyone. I'm sorry that if Ra couldn't get to all of your questions, but I'm sure that he'll be back in the future. So if you want to save them for the next time that we meet, I want to be able to address all of the things that you guys want to address and give you all the energy that you're asking for and stuff like that. So please, I hope that you'll come back next time if you didn't get anything answered today.
Yes. And also, I don't know if Maggie's information is below, but if it's not, maybe it is. It is. So if you guys are interested in working with Maggie on a personal basis, you can definitely go to her website. It's MEI.com, and you can email her there. Otherwise, you can find her here. And then also, we're going to get Maggie's channel set up too. So we'll let you guys know when that all happens. And we had a really great time tonight, and we stepped out of our comfort zone. Although I have to say, like, I'm glad I channeled, but I didn't have to channel with my eyes closed, or like I was like, oh no, he's gonna make me channel with my. So anyway, all right, guys, much love to you, and with that, we are going to sign off, and we will keep you posted for our next time that we go live. We're thinking Wednesdays, but we'll let you know. All right, much love, many blessings.
Thank you, guys.
And we are